gonna go ahead and show you guys how I apply false lashes to myself or a client, straight down from how we take it out of the pack, how we trim them up, how we put the glue on, and yeah, just the application. I know everyone has their own way of doing it, so I'm just gonna show you how I would do mine. Going in with a little bit of Hope from Rare Beauty, and we're gonna get right into lashes. So start with your favorite lashes. I'm gonna use the Demi Whispies from Ardell. The band is really light, they go on really nicely, and you can kind of wiggle them around and manipulate them to where you want them to go. So it's a little bit easier to use a lighter band if you're not used to lashes. So just be careful when you're buying lashes to look at the band and see if it's a super thick, hard one, or if it's gonna be a nice and light and easy one to maneuver. Go ahead and take your tweezers and start on the outer corner, and just lightly pick up the corner and lightly kind of tear it off in an angle. The easiest way to trim it is to look down lightly where you can still see it going onto your eye. We're gonna place it on. And then you're gonna see on the outside corner, if it's coming past where your eyelid kind of stops, you wanna trim that little piece off. So this one actually fits nicely to my own eye. If I did find that when it went on, it was poking too much on the inside or hanging off too much on the outside, you're absolutely going to want to trim it, but always make sure that you're trimming it from the outside, the longest part, because there's more to take away from that angle than there is from the inside and the smaller edge, and we want to keep as much as that as possible because there's only so much of it. So go ahead, place it on your eye, and then go ahead and trim it as much as you need. So you can see up close when you're looking at them that there's little notches that shows you little pieces. I normally would take it and take off one notch at a time. So a little bit here, and you would take off the first bunch. Sometimes it's just a few little lashes and stuff. Most of the time it is nicer if you do go from chunk to chunk to chunk, and then you don't have like an uneven amount from one lash to the other lash because you're gonna wanna match it. So you have your lash ready, you put a daub of glue at the beginning, and then just nice and lightly drag it. You don't want too much, you want just enough that it's gonna be adhered to your lash. You wanna wait about 30 seconds. Once that 30 seconds is coming to an end, start to take the edges of your lash and just kind of wiggle it around. That way it's just kind of giving it like a natural curve, so it's a little bit easier to pop onto your eye. I find it easier to tilt your head and then look down at whatever you're looking at. So whether it's a mirror or your camera, whichever, kind of tilt your head, and it's gonna be easiest to pop it on then. So starting on one corner and bringing it into the other is much easier than trying to fit the whole lash on at once. And then when you feel like the glue isn't too wet, right now mine seems a little bit wet, so we're just gonna squeeze it together with the end of your tweezers and just push it into your natural lashes. This way you don't get like a weird separation in between. Sometimes you can see the space and the gap in between the lashes and your natural lash, and you don't want that. You want to kind of avoid that. So this way it just fits perfectly and kind of looks a little bit more natural. Once the glue is going to dry, it's going to be clear. You can also get black too. Sometimes it's a little bit more messy. If you're doing like a winged line or anything, you can go ahead and use the black, but if you're going more natural, then I would advise going with the white one that dries clear. Go ahead on this side and do the exact same thing. Pop it on one corner and then drag it on the other side. If you think your lashes are done drying, just have a feel and see if the glue is clear and if it's still tacky. Take your favorite mascara, and then you're gonna bind them together just gently, kind of keeping most of the mascara in your natural lashes in the base and not put too much up on the top. It can tend to look a little clumpy in photos. So we're just building them together to make it into one. Looking for a good lash this summer, the Naked Lashes from Ardell are my top picks. And then on top of that, the Demi Whispies, the OGs, are always good. So yeah, that is an easy way to apply your false lashes.